Hello guys, I'm back for another video. Now, let us continue our book The Bollywood Burglary by Geronimo Stilton. In my last video, I have read till chapter 4. Now, in this video, I'll continue from chapter 5. Now, let us begin. Chapter 5. Off to India. What could I do? The idea of being in a movie was totally terrifying. But it was all to help an old friend. So, how could I refuse? Even though so many years had gone by, Ratna still held a special place in my heart. At the very least, I was looking forward to seeing her. I packed my suitcase and headed to the airport with Hercule. The trip was very long and Hercule blabbed the entire time. First, he told me the plot of Restless Hearts in great detail. Restless Hearts. Main characters. Ratna Prem is in the role of Princess of Rajasthan. Geronimo Stilton in the role of the Prince of Mysore. Plot. It is a long time ago. The Prince of Mysore sees a miniature portrait of the beautiful Princess of Rajasthan and instantly falls in love with her. The prince writes the princess a letter and sends her priceless gifts, but she takes no notice. So, hoping to impress her, he decides to go on a quest of amazing feats. First, he explores the Indian jungle and is nearly devoured by a Bengal tiger. Then he goes to Varanasi to collect the sacred waters of the Ganges river for her. Next, he gallops to Jaipur, Rajasthan, the romantic pink city where the princess lives. There, the princess and the prince meet, and he convinces her to visit the Taj Mahal with him. It is there, by this legendary monument and symbol of love, that he declares his love, and the princess finally agrees to marry him. Hercule and I were sitting next to each other, so there was no escape. He read me a super mega huge guidebook of India from cover to cover. We finally landed in New Delhi, the capital city of India. By that time, I was so worried about the film that my eyes were wider than wheels of cheese. But at least I knew practically everything about India. As soon as the plane's hatch opened, a wave of hot, humid air greeted us. It smelled of flowers and spices. I could see the city's skyline in the distance. I had to admit, I was also so excited. I was practically jumping out of my fur. You see, I love to travel, and I had always longed to visit India. We were in India, one of the most fascinating countries in the world. Our trip had just begun, but my heart was already beating faster than a hamster on a wheel. We were going to have an amazing adventure. Chapter 6. Restless Hearts. As soon as we arrived in New Delhi, Hercule stuffed me, my achy tail, and all our suitcases inside a taxi. Scurry up, my dear Stilton. They are waiting for us. The taxi dropped us in front of an enormous theatre. Outside, there was a sign that read, "We can go in here. Screen tests for the movie Restless Hearts. Film crew only." "We can go in here, Jerkins. You are the lead actor," said Hercule, smirking under his whiskers. Dear reader, I am a very shy mouse. Why, just the thought of squeaking in public makes me blush to the roots of my fur. How in the name of string cheese was I going to act in front of a movie camera? I changed my mind. I am going home, I stammered. Hercule grabbed me by the tail. What about Ratna? Some friend you turned out to be? I thought of Ratna and sighed. She was my friend. I couldn't abandon her, so I scampered into the theatre along with Hercule. All the lights were off except for the spotlight on the stage, which was shining on a group of dancers. They were all singing in chorus. He could feel that they were drifting apart. He understood that he had been mistaken. Alas, he had never had her heart. Alas, 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 he was forsaken. Besides the dancers, there were dozens of other rodents in the theatre, busily scurrying to and fro. Parat pointed out each one to me. That's the director, and that's his assistant. That is the costume designer, and that's the makeup artist, and that's. Hercule kept on blabbing till he introduced every person to me. Chapter 7. Welcome to India, Mr. Stilton. Welcome to India, Mr. Stilton. Someone behind me squeaked. I turned and saw a mouse with an extremely long braid. I am Vandana Ratkita, the casting director for Restless Hearts, she said in a gentle tone. She looked me over from the tip of my ears to the tip of my tail. Now, Mr. Stilton, you are playing the Prince of Mysore. You'll be amazing, perfect, incredible. Vandana pushed me towards the stage. Let me see how you dance, Mr. Stilton. I turned redder than a cheese rind. I don't know. I haven't got a clue how to dance. The dancers turned to stare at me. Then they began murmuring. Did you hear that? He doesn't know how to dance. Suddenly, the theatre was so quiet. You could hear a cheese slice drop. The director, Dev Mauspali, slapped me on the back so hard that my tailbone rattled. So what if he doesn't know how to dance? He'll learn, he cried. Mrs. Rattle will teach him. Everyone let out a sigh of relief. Yeah, Mrs. Rattle will take care of him. She'll teach him everything he needs to know. He better learn or what? I cried, twisting my tail. I need to know. Tell me. But they ignored me and went back to their dancing. They leaped here and there to the beat of music. They were so graceful. I knew I'd never be able to dance like that. Hercule dragged me away to my trailer. Sleep tight, my dear Stilton, he told me. You need your rest. Tomorrow you'll be shaking your tail and prancing your paws off. Chapter 8. Cream for the calluses. The long trip from Mouse Island had worn me out. I closed my eyes and fell deeply asleep. At dawn the following morning, Hercule woke me up by shrieking directly into my left ear. Wake up, my dear Stilton. Shake a paw. It's time to get your tail moving. My paws had barely touched the floor when Hercule poured a scalding cup of tea down my throat. It was so hot, it burnt my gullet. Then he shoved a handful of candy into my snout. Here's some hot pepper candy. I added more hot peppers to give it extra zip. Like it, Jerkins? He demanded. Arr! I screeched. The hot pepper candies had gone down the wrong way and I almost choked. Cough, cough, cough. A quick shower will perk you up. It will help you move those paws to the beat, Stilton, squeaked Hercule, pushing me into a cold shower. Help! You are going to freeze my tail off, I cried. So he turned the faucet and instantly the water became boiling hot. No! I screeched. Now you are scorching the fur right off my back. Come on, Jerkins. Why do you have to be so difficult? He complained. You're never happy. The steam in the shower was so thick I couldn't see my paw in front of my snout. I felt around for the shampoo, toothpaste and fur gel. But the shampoo wouldn't lather, the toothpaste tasted worse than day-old tuna, and the gel matted my fur like a manky marmot. Squeak! I had washed my fur with toothpaste, brushed my teeth with shampoo, and combed my fur with callus cream. Ha ha ha! At least you won't have any calluses in your fur, Hercule giggled. The day had started out all wrong. I was afraid to think about how would it end. Only this much, dear friends, for this video. In my next video, I'll continue from chapter 9, Mr. Stilton's Dreadful Day. Thank you for watching my video and like this video if you like.